Welcome to Pranayama Yoga. I'm Christy. Let's take a breath. Today we're going to incorporate pranayama into a little bit of strength building. There's always some strength going on in our yoga practice, but we're going to use breath and try to make building strength a little bit easier. Okay, let's circle shoulders a couple times. Inhale, arms up overhead. Hands together, bring them on down to the heart. Let's do a little twist here. Just twist to your right side, lengthen up the spine. So if we held this long enough, it could be core strength, right? If we did it without hands and we just tried to hold ourselves in place. But right now we're just loosening things up a little bit. So twist over to your left side. But when you start to think about it, almost anything can start to become a strengthening pose. So if you feel like you need to build that into your practice, you can kind of think about, oh yeah, how does that feel? Maybe if I just let go. Okay, we're going to begin with Nadi Shodhana. So hopefully hands are clean. If not, you might want to go wash them. Or you can just do that mental one we've done several times where you're just imagining the flow of the breath, switching from side to side. But if you're going to use your hand, any fingers that you like to use. Thumb, index finger. If you want to bend index and middle finger down, then you're using thumb and ring finger. Just try to sit up tall. I'm sitting on my meditation cushion as usual. Makes it a little easier for me to sit with a straight spine. All right, we're going to close off right nostril. Take an inhale through your left nostril. And then we're going to switch sides. So close off your left nostril. Exhale out through your right nostril. Inhale through the right. And now we're going to change sides again. Exhale left. Inhale left. Now we're going to switch. So it's an exhale and an inhale on each side. So exhale right, inhale right. Now we're going to switch. So nice slow exhale and inhale. And then before you exhale, you're changing sides. If you get mixed up, it's okay. We're going to finish on a left exhale. Once you get to that next left exhale, and then you're just going to let it go. Notice how you feel after that. Looking for maybe some tiny little bit of lightheadedness. Usually that one isn't such a cause for lightheadedness. Sometimes there's just this sense of lightness in the body after that, kind of slowing down. It's a great practice just to pull your mind inward instead of in our 1,000 different directions. Okay, strength. Let's see. Let's start with the cat and dog. We're going to do a little more loosening up, and then we'll start to incorporate some strengthening poses. Let's come on to hands and knees. We're going to round. Oh, back is tight. Holy cow. Okay. So we're going to round it into a cat pose. Head and tailbone down. All right. I think I'm going to have to go really slowly here. And then we're going to inhale. We're going to let spine drop down towards the floor. Let head and chest come up. Some days, I just don't know what happens to my body, that it gets so tight. Some days I know why. Other days I have no clue. We're going to round it back into cat pose. So try to pull your belly in. So here's another one where you can start to just really squeeze your abdominal muscles. You can hold. So not like a crazy strengthening pose, but it might be just right some days. And drop spine down towards the floor. Bring head up. And then we're going to bend our elbows. Let's see. I may have to shift my hands a little bit here. Just start to bend your elbows. Put some, we're stretching the shoulders here, but we're also starting to put some weight on to the arms. And then come back up, round it into cat pose. And we're just going to extend the legs out. So bottoms of the toes on the ground. We're going to come into a plank pose. Heels back, abdomen in. You want your shoulders pretty much straight above your wrists. And then we're going to bring the knees down. And we're going to push back into child's pose. Take a breath. Okay, back up on the hands and knees. So we want the knees to be a little bit behind the hips. And we're going to start to bend our elbows here. Pull your abdomen in. Notice how your neck is. And we're going to count the breath. So count your inhales. Try to keep your abdomen pulled in. One more inhale. And then we're going to push back into a child's pose. So that was about 5 breaths. It might have been more for you. It might have been less depending on the length of your breath. So we're using counting the breath. So that's a pranayama technique. We're counting the breath to try to focus our minds, to try to keep some calmness. So we're training ourselves to be calm during these stressful moments. And if you're super strong, that's going to be easier for you. If you're not very strong, I am not strong at all, then that becomes tougher, right? We start to stress out when we're holding these tough spots. So using a breath is going to help to keep you calm. It's going to help to keep your mind focused. It can help you stay in the pose a little bit longer, but you want to be mindful about not staying there too long. We're trying not to hurt ourselves. But so it's also a way just to keep your mind focused, and it's a way to mark how long you're in the pose. So especially as you start to get stronger, right? If you were doing 1 breath and then maybe you get to 2 over time and then maybe 3 and then maybe up to 5. But a lot of it is just creating that balance, that we're putting our bodies in some physical stress and we're working on keeping our nervous systems calm. Okay, here we go. Let's come back out. We're going to lower all the way down this time. So you can either come into a high plank, knees up, or you can have your knees down, abdomen in. Try to come down slowly. Lengthen those legs out behind you. So you want a nice long spine. And then start to come into a back bend. You can do it without your hands. So here's another spot. You can just count your inhales. So 5 is too long. Let yourself come down. And then let your hands come down onto the floor. We're just going to push into the hands. Pull the chest forward, shoulder blades back. So a little bit of a deeper back bend there. And then come on back. Into child's pose. Let your back lengthen out. All right, we're going to come back onto hands and knees so we can bring it into a lunge. Come up onto your hands and knees. We're going to bring the right foot forward for a lunge. You can take this foot out to the side and then kind of walk it up. Any way you need to get that foot to the top is fine. All right, we're going to shift the hips forward, trying to lengthen out that back leg. And then we're going to curl the toes under and bring the knee up, but we're going to let the hips drop down a little bit. So you want this back leg to be engaged. We're going to stay low here so that we're getting a good stretch. Maybe both hands need to be on the inside of that right foot instead of on either side. So again, count your breath. Try to push that left heel backward, really engaging those muscles in that back leg. Just keep pushing that heel back, tightening those leg muscles. All right, I think that's about 5. We're going to push back. I was talking, I lost count. All right, we're going to push back and we're just going to fold over this front leg. Let your spine lengthen out. Good. And then let's step the back foot forward. That can be a whole bunch of little hops to bring that back foot forward. Coming into a standing forward fold. Take your feet out towards the edges of the mat. So even in your stretches, you can use your breath. So 5 or 10 are kind of the typical numbers that we use. 5 or 10 breaths in yoga poses, sometimes longer. Keep again letting go, lengthening out as you exhale. And then we're going to walk the feet a little closer together. Step the right foot back. So now we've got the left foot forward. So let's bring this right knee all the way down onto the ground. We'll get this little deeper stretch here for a moment. And then we're going to curl the back toes under. Bring that knee up, but you still want to let your hips drop down. Again, maybe you're going to move your hands to the inside of that left foot. Push that right heel backward, and then try to sink your hips down a little bit. So you're keeping the leg elevated, but you're also trying to drop your hips down a bit. Counting your breath. Feeling those back legs, those back legs. Yeah, I think there's only one. I think there's only one back leg. Back leg engaged. All right, was that 5? And then we're going to push the hips back a little farther, straightening out the front leg, fold the body over the front leg. And then we're going to hop this back foot forward. Line the feet up. Take them out a little bit wide. Fold in again. And then inhale all the way up to standing. Reach arms up overhead. Hands touch. We're going to bring hands down to the heart. Good. All right, so we're going to let's flow through most of a sun salute. We're going to line feet up near the top of the mat. Stand up tall. Inhale, arms up overhead. So even here, right, as you're bringing your arms up, this can be another place just to work on. You can try to really squeeze those shoulder blade muscles. You can try to really pull your shoulders down, tightening up through the back ribs, but then it's also going to squeeze your abdomen in. So even here, even just standing, you can tighten up your legs. You can have your arms up. So usually arms coming up is going to engage your core muscles. So even as we're coming into that sun salute, right, you can engage your legs, lift up tall, and just squeeze core muscles in. So squeezing all the muscles in the torso in, and even squeezing your arm muscles here. And then let your arms exhale out so you can keep those arms engaged as you're exhaling, arms out to shoulder height. We're going to fold from the hips, hands come down. Try to tighten up your thighs, lifting your kneecaps up. Inhale into half lift. Pull your spine forward. So again, you can try to really tighten up all those muscles in the torso. Breath. Fold in. Bend knees. Feet walk back. Come on into a down dog. And then into a plank. So again, if you need support for your arms, for your shoulders, your elbows, your wrists, knees come down slowly. So let's first push into the back bend, into cobra, pressing into your hands, chest forward. And then we're going to release arms out behind you. We're going to try to count to 5. Counting the inhales. So this, you're strengthening your arms too. You're tightening up those arms, trying to lift them up as high as you can. And then hands come down. We're going to press back into child's pose. Nice full breath. Okay, we're going to try to take it into a side plank. We're going to do a low side plank. We're going to bring left lower arm across the mat. Starting from hands and knees, and then you're going to drop down onto that left lower arm. So your left lower arm is parallel with the front edge of your mat. We're going to start to turn out to the side. So on your lower arm, you can either stay on this left knee, or you can extend your right leg out. So if you just pull the leg up and you push it out and you bring your arm up. So again, if you pull your toes in towards your knee, you're going to strengthen leg. You're going to strengthen some core muscles in there, hips. If you want to straighten out the bottom leg, you're going to bring this right foot down. Left leg comes out. You're going to try to stack legs. So a little more core strength, a little more arm strength. So now this left arm. Okay, I can't talk for that long and do that. Take it. All right, so we're going to come back. Oh, no. All right. Crashing and burning there. Talking and breathing and trying to do yoga is often a lot. All right, let's start over. Left lower arm across the mat. So again, you can I'm going to stay here because that's going to work better for me talking. So if you want to straighten out the bottom leg's going to straighten out. Otherwise, just this top leg up, toes pull in. You get both legs straight, you're trying to stack feet, and then if you're able, you can bring that top leg up again. But if you're just on this lower knee, raise toes, pull in towards you. You can get that arm to come up. So now it's more core through the side of the waist, into the leg, and not as much. All right, come on down if you were still there. It's not as much on the arm. So when you straighten out both legs, then you're putting more pressure on that arm. Breath. Circle shoulders. I'm just going to flip over. You can just stay where you are and just do the other side, but I'm going to just turn around. Now we're going to do right arm across the mat. Beginning again from hands and knees. Right arm's going to come down. So lower arm is parallel with the short edge of your mat. Left leg is going to stretch out. So again, if you want to just bring this left leg up, and it could be that your left hand is going to stay down. If you're going to straighten out both legs, bottom leg comes out. Hand on your hip. Okay, so we're going to try to count to 5 here. And look for those subtleties. Try to keep that length. Sinking. All right, I think that was about 5. Come on down. Take a breath on your abdomen in child's pose. All right, we're going to come on. We're going to roll it onto our backs. Take a sip of water here. Okay, on the back. We're going to bring the knees in, rock a little from side to side. Okay, a reclining pigeon. So this is going to depend on how tight your hips are, if you can do this without hands. Bring your right ankle on top of your left thigh. So this hip for me is tight. It's pretty difficult for me to pull the legs in significantly without using my hands, but we're just going to see how it goes. All right, if this hurts, right, if you're already feeling enough here, just stay here with that left foot down on the floor. But if you can, you're going to bring the leg in. So here we're going to really focus on having that left shin parallel with the floor. Just watch what happens. If you let your foot drop down, usually the intensity decreases in the stretch here. So usually having your ankle straight out from your knee makes it a little more intense. We're just going to try to squeeze in without using our hands. If you need to use your hands, grab hold of the leg, pull in. All right, and then we're going to release. Straighten both legs out along the floor. Take a breath. So for me on that side, right, really hard for me to breathe, take like slow, deep breaths on that side because I'm having to work so hard to squeeze that leg in because the tightness of the leg, my hip just keeps pushing it back out. So it's this constant like fighting to try to keep the leg squeezed in. So I'm, making a difference there. All right, other side. This one's usually easier for me. So we're going to bring feet onto the floor, left ankle on top of right thigh. So again, if this is your spot, just hang out here. If you're holding the leg, just hold the leg. We're going to try to bring the legs up. So we're just using our core muscles and our leg muscles. So now on this right foot, you want your ankle, and you may not know exactly where it is, but you're trying to not let your foot drop down. You want to keep it up. So it's going to push your legs in a little bit more. All right, now we're going to count. So count your inhales. Try to keep the breath slow and deep. And just notice where you can feel it. So on this side, since I'm not having to struggle so much to keep the legs in place, I can really notice that I can feel it in my abdomen. I can feel it in my outer leg. Not just that I'm stretching that IT band, but that I'm strengthening outer legs. I can feel it in my thighs, especially on the support leg. All right, we're going to let the feet come back down. Take your legs out straight. Nice breath. Arms can be anywhere that feels good for you in this moment. If you want to bring them overhead or out at shoulder height. If that feels good for your shoulders, that can give you a nice stretch there. So hopefully you're still feeling like you're getting that release, that we're letting out the tension, that we're still creating flexibility in here with our strength. So just notice, like, what are you feeling in your body right now? Does it feel like some things have loosened up as well as like you've worked the muscles a bit? All right, let's see. We're going to do a couple more abdominal strengtheners here. Oh, all right, let's do bridge pose first. We're going to bring feet onto the on the floor near the hips. So you want them to be pretty much hip distance apart and just as close as they'll come to your hips. You know, they may be out a little farther. That's fine. And sometimes once we lift the hips up, then they can move in a little, then they'll be able to move in a little farther. So feet on the floor, low back down. Any back trouble and you feel like you want to just stay here, just pull your belly in, push your back down into the floor. If you're coming up, you can still stay very low here. If this is better for your back today, this feels like, for me, this feels like a great spot for my legs right here. Like I can feel like I'm getting a nice stretch, but I'm making my legs work. You want to have this sensation of squeezing legs in together, even though you're not trying to pull them together. You want to just engage the muscles as though you're trying to squeeze. So it's as though you had a yoga block and like you were trying to, so if you have a yoga block, it's one of the ways you can work on this pose. It's just to put it kind of between the thighs somewhere and squeeze into that block. So you've still got your knees lined up with your hips, but you're really engaging the leg muscles. So I can feel that's making me use my glutes more when I use the block, because then I have something to really resist against. All right, how long have we been here? Have you been counting your breath? I've just been talking. Hopefully that was distracting. All right, well, let's do breath. So we're going to focus. We're going to count. Count inhales. Try to soften a bit on your exhales. See if you can still keep your shoulders relaxed and your face. And then we're going to slowly come on down. Take a breath. So yoga block is good for that. If you don't have one, yoga blocks can be really helpful. Because they've got that the foam ones have that firmness, but they're not, but they have a little bit of softness to them at the same time. Okay, one more breath here. So let's do a twist, and then we're going to hold the legs up. We're going to bring knees in towards the chest, and then we're going to drop them. So let's let them drop all the way over to the right side here. Arms can be out at about shoulder height. And we'll just get this twist in first. Get things to loosen up a little bit. All right, here we go. We're taking it to the other side. Knees back through center. You can give them a little squeeze in. Breath. Arms back out at shoulder height. We're going to take knees over to the left side. All right, back to center. Breath. Now we're going to bring these knees over to the right side again, but we're going to try to keep those legs up off the floor. So arms out, shoulder height, and help give you some stability. We're going to squeeze the abdominal muscles in and just feel like where's that good spot where you can feel like you're just strengthening and stretching in the right place. So trying to keep some space underneath your legs. If it's hurting your back, legs come down. if you're okay. And then you can experiment. I usually can't do both legs out straight, but I can do one. Usually the top leg feels good to me to straighten. All right, sorry, I'm talking again, not counting. Okay, so counting breath. All right, and then we're gonna let legs come on down. Yeah, I start sinking in those places where I'm weak. You can feel myself sinking in the pose. Okay, back to center. Just gonna let my feet come down for a moment. So let your below back press down. If you want knees pulled in, hug your knees in. If you want to do little windshield wipers like I am, just feet on the floor, knees gently swaying from side to side. It's always interesting to me how, right, like the right kind of strengthening poses. Okay, again, lost the words there. That's also just very, releases out tension. I think any kind of really exercise that we do just helps to really calm us down. Okay, like really, right? There's just that physical change in the body that something's releasing out. All right, so knees are in. We're going to take them over to the left side. Oh, I feel like this side's going to be harder. We're going to squeeze the abdomen in. Try to keep your legs up off the floor. Again, just explore a little bit about how exactly you want to position your legs. Try to keep those abdominal muscles squeezed in. If you're going to straighten one or both legs, you can try to extend one or both out. All right, so here we go. We're going to count. Let the legs come all the way down onto the floor. Take a breath. And then we're going to roll it back to center. Notice how you are on that side, after that side. Okay, we're going to do one more. If you need back support like I do, you're just going to tuck your hands right underneath your hips, just so your pelvis is lifted up a little bit. Bring your legs up into the air. Knees can be bent. So I'm thinking we're just going to hold the legs out at an angle. You want to feel that lower abdomen squeezing in. So right here, I'm in a pretty good spot. I think I can breathe pretty well here. If you want to do pulses, again, you can just kind of count with the breath. So exhale. So if you're going to do pulses, if you're going to bring the legs in towards you, but you're going to do that as you exhale. So inhale as you go out. And exhale as you come in. So still using your breath there. If you're just going to hold, find like what feels like where you can really squeeze your abdomen in, not stress out your back. Okay. So counting inhales. All right, I'm thinking you guys are probably all stronger than I am. You can probably hold this longer than I can. If you want a few more breaths, keep going. I'm going to let my feet come down. So once you come down, just try to come into maybe a Okay, I was not high in bridge pose before. I don't know where you were. Just trying to come into a nice little bridge pose. I'm going to come up a little bit higher onto my shoulders this time. Focus a little more. I'm going to bring my arms up overhead because that feels good today on my shoulders. Still working your legs here. Squeezing in the glutes. And then let yourself gently roll down. All right, we're just going to do, I want to do butterfly pose. So we're just going to come up, we're going to do a butterfly. And then we're going to head towards Shavasana. So come on up into a butterfly pose. Soles of the feet together. Yeah, maybe we'll do a wide leg fold too. All right, and we're just going to round. Soles of the feet together, feet a little bit forward, round your spine, let your head come down. So my legs are much looser than they used to be. I will sometimes rest hands or even push down slightly on the inner knee area. But hands can rest anywhere that's comfortable for you. If you're getting pretty low, you might also want to stretch hands past your feet, pulling your torso a little farther forward. Come on up. Yeah, so let's do one for the back. We're going to take the feet out wide. And we're going to try to fold sideways over this right leg. So we're going to look towards the left toes. We're going to fold sideways. You can use your hand. You can use your lower arm. We're going to bring this left arm up, stretching out the left side of the body. So if you stay right, so if you still want to work a bit on strength, but also stretching your legs, you can try to keep your body upright if your back is okay there. If you want to come deeper into this stretch and really stretch out through the lumbar area, the lumbar muscles, try to really focus on the fold sideways. It's going to help with back pain, is just to do this sideways fold. And see how far you can bring that left arm up and over. So just at first, you're just working on left arm coming up. And then if those shoulders are, get better. My shoulders used to be really bad too. I used to have a really difficult time bringing my arm up. It wouldn't come up very far. So all of that, has the potential to change. All right, we're going to come on up. So we're just trying to be in this space that we just keep practicing. We don't really know what's going to happen next in our bodies, but a lot of things can get better, even when it seems like there's something really wrong in certain spots. Okay, we're going to look towards the right toes. We're going to lean sideways. This side is always trickier for me. I have to take it much slower to go into this side. So you might just lean your lower arm on your leg if you can go a little farther. And then how I position myself needs to be a little bit different too. So I usually have to bring this left arm sort of in front of my body, bringing that left hand over to the right leg so that I can fold sideways. And then we're going to come on up. Breath. We're going to fold right down the middle. Try to lengthen out. Come on up. This is one of those weeks where I'm having like a hard time getting started. But once I start, then I'm like, oh, I want to do this and that and the other thing, and this part needs to be happening, and that pose needs to happen. So I'm going to try to not do everything with you guys today. All right, we're going to lower on down. So let's do one more because, again, I'm just feeling like trying to find where's the balance in here. Since I don't usually do so much strength, it feels a little unbalanced to me. We're going to do reclining deer pose, feet wide on the floor. And then we're going to drop knees to the left, focusing on the right leg. So we're getting the stretch through the quads. You might feel it a bit into the psoas and the, sort of on the inside of that hip. You might feel a little bit on the outside of the hip. If it's too much on your knee, take your right knee closer to your left knee. All right, here we go. We're going to change sides. So you can either just let your knees come up or you can slide right leg over to the left. Kick it out. The feet back on the floor, feet wide. We're going to drop the knees to the right side, focusing on the left legs. That left inner leg is dropping down towards the floor, getting stretch in the left leg. Breathe. And then we're going to slide, sorry, that was longer than the other side. All right, we're going to bring this leg over. We're going to kick it out. Come back onto your back. Pull your knees in. You're going to do a happy baby. You're going to reach for your feet. Feet can always stay together in happy baby. Or you can pull them apart. And sometimes I like to do both. I like to have that moment of pulling feet in towards me and then let them separate. And some days that feet here is a lot on my low back. So sometimes I will just bring them back down because it doesn't feel good always to pull them apart. Okay. Hopefully you're feeling pretty good now. We're going to take a couple minutes to just rest. Find a comfortable spot. Wherever you want that to be today. I'll set my timer. Keep breathing out. All right, we're going to try to do 5 minutes in Shavasana. So really, it can be any way that you feel like you want to be. Just try to get comfortable, especially now in these colder months. You might want socks or something over you. Again, you can come back to just simply counting your inhales, just to focus your mind. And on the exhales, let your body sink down, letting go more and more with each exhale. Take a deeper breath. Wiggle your fingers and your toes. Rotate your wrists and ankles. You could pull your knees in. The head can turn from side to side. Arms can stretch overhead. Bend your knees and roll to one side. And then slowly work your way up into a seated position. So if you're sitting with crossed legs, again, if you can change this bottom leg, bring it up on top, maybe into a half lotus, resting foot on top of the opposite thigh. Sit up tall. Hands at the heart. Nice full inhale. Exhale it out. Thank you for being here and sharing in this practice today. Namaste.